Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Princess Alaska Cruises presentation today. We are so excited to have Joe with us. Joe is our and your local Princess representative. He helps us out. He is a great point of contact for us. We are so appreciative of his partnership. It's what makes this relationship work so well. He works for us and you, and it's a great partnership we have. So we thank you for your partnership, Joe.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to get started today with our Alaska presentation. As we know, Princess goes all over the world, but Alaska is such a great destination. It has such a high repeat and referral audience to it. It seems like every year I've been here for 14 years now, which seems crazy, but Alaska time and time again is such a high destination for a bucket list vacation, and it seems like if you go once, you definitely go back. So we are excited to learn more, and I'm going to hand it off to you, and I'll come back at the end. So thanks so much, Joe.
All right. Well, thank you, Nicole. And on behalf of Princess, thank you, Cruise Holidays, for inviting us today. And thank you for those of you that are listening live and those of you that are listening after the fact as well. Nicole really said a couple of great things there to start with. Well, it was all great, but in particular that Princess is a worldwide cruise line. There's no question about that. Alaska is really what we're best known for. It's the favorite destination of a lot of us that work at Princess and for Princess, and that includes me as well. And so today I'm going to present to you Alaska, and I want you to know that 2022 Alaska is selling quite well, as you might expect, having really had 2 years of little or no Alaska cruising. But our 2023 Alaska is available for sale too as well. So if you are looking further into the future, please know that that is open and ready for you to review as well. So, you know, one thing that we know in our business, Nicole knows this, and everybody at Cruise Holidays knows this, and of course I do and Princess does. Most of us generate almost as much happiness from anticipating a vacation as the vacation itself. So it's really an interesting dynamic. And I personally feel this is truthful. It is for me personally, just that anticipating and getting ready for the trip and thinking about it for months in advance. And finally the day arrives and you get to board the ship in this case. So by all means, consider making your plans now. Make a booking. Our policies are rather flexible, and you make a deposit, and then when you make your booking with Nicole or somebody, one of the staff members at Cruise Holidays, they'll let you know when your final payment is due and when things become non-refundable. So keep that in mind, that we have really flexible policies. Every Princess story begins with kind of our guiding principle, kind of our compass that keeps us focused north, and it's called our shared purpose. I like to read it verbatim. It's rather short, but it means so much. It goes like this: our shared purpose is to share our world, our hearts, protect the earth, which is really means reducing our environmental footprint that we leave behind, and creating lasting memories. And these last 3 words are the real key: creating lasting memories. We're pretty convinced you're going to enjoy planning your trip and anticipating it like we just spoke about. We're convinced you're going to enjoy the cruise and boarding the ship and exploring the ship and everything it has to offer, the fine dining, the great entertainment, all of the shore excursions and the ports of call, and the beautiful scenery. In the case of Alaska, hopefully you'll have a chance to see Mount Denali. When you come home and you share those memories with your friends and family, then we know that we have done what we've set out to do, and that's create lasting memories. It's what we're all about, and everything we do is designed to create those lasting memories. And then our core values of protect, respect, and connect tend to be a little bit more technical, but the first one I'll just highlight our core value of protect. Of course, we always put safety first, always have. And in today's world, it becomes more obvious how important that is. So a couple of things about health and safety as we kick things off. This is, of course, top of mind for all of us, no matter who we are or when we might be traveling. And we have many protocols in place. There's three things I just want to that stand out to me that we've changed and enhanced, besides all of the other requirements regarding COVID-19 vaccinations, etc. But three things that really stand out to me. Number one is we offer you a staggered boarding. By virtue of our medallion class sailings, which all of our ships will be medallion class, and I'll talk about that more later, you actually choose your own boarding time. So there's not any longer where you experience the long waits at the pier and long lines with your luggage. You schedule your own boarding, and it's staggered. Ventilation, we've enhanced our air filtration on board the ships, where both in public and in the private staterooms, the air is filtered every 5 to 6 minutes. And then, of course, we're working closely with all of the local shoreside vendors and ports of call and government entities and all of the ports of call to offer you a very safe shoreside experience. Lots of great things. I urge you to visit our health and safety protocols right on princesscruises.com and clicking on health protocols, and under our cruise health frequently asked questions, there'll be a list of many questions, all of which you probably have asked yourself, and with answers, such as, will a vaccine be required? Is mask wearing required? All of these sorts of questions are answered here, and it's regularly updated. So the most recent updates on our frequently asked questions and the answers was yesterday. So we continually update the answers. We have a Cruise with Confidence program that consists of really three areas: Book with Confidence, Princess Promise, and Vacation Protection, Princess Vacation Protection enhancements. But keep in mind that we've relaxed some policies. Our promise to you on board is that if you're not satisfied, we'll make it right. And our insurance program, the Princess Vacation Protection Program, has been enhanced as well without increasing the costs any. All right, we're going to talk about Alaska vacationing a bit. We're going to walk through what a sample cruise tour will look like, go through some frequently asked cruise and tour questions. And we know that Glaciers is the driving reason most of us want to see Alaska and go to Alaska, is to see glaciers. So I want you to know that if you go on a cruise tour with Princess, which really means you're cruising and you're going on a land tour as well into what we call the interior of Alaska, we provide you on that 7-day cruise between Vancouver and Anchorage, or the port city really is called Whittier, port city for Anchorage. We offer you 2 glacier viewing opportunities. One is we always visit Glacier Bay National Park, which is really the crown jewel of cruising in Alaska. When we arrive Glacier Bay National Park early in the morning, we have national park rangers that board the ship. They spend the entire day with us, with our customers, with our guests, with you on board the ship. You can have a private audience with the national park ranger. On the left-hand side of this photo is showing people visiting, or excuse me, viewing Margerie Glacier, which is deep into Glacier Bay National Park. Margerie Glacier, and I'll have a number of photos of it throughout my presentation, is a mile wide at the water. It's what we call and what's referred to as a tidewater glacier. And that really means, I think in lay terms primarily, is that when the ice falls off, when it calves, it falls into the water. Our ships were purpose built for scenic viewing, ample public deck areas. when we're visiting Margerie Glacier, like you see it here, these folks are doing something and experiencing it a little differently than most. Most of us go up onto one of the top decks up on top, and we look at the glacier and we have a great view of it. If you go down to deck 7, which is where these folks are, our promenade deck, you have an entirely different view of the glacier. And I urge you to switch off during the day when you're visiting the glaciers. And Margerie Glacier, as I said, is a mile wide at the water, several hundred feet high, and of course that deep as well. So we always provide you with glacier viewing, 2 glacier viewing opportunities on the voyage of the glaciers between Vancouver and Whittier or Anchorage, Glacier Bay National Park, and then going north, an area called College Fjord. If you're coming south, it's slightly different. It's an area called Hubbard Glacier. And then Denali National Park is a big draw for any of us to see as well. When you are on one of the Princess cruise tours, with limited exceptions, we include a tour into Denali Park itself, and it offers you tremendous views, great narration on your motor coach tour of what the park is all about, what you're seeing. Hopefully you'll see some of the wildlife. I can just about guarantee you'll see some, and we'll show some of that more later. The wildlife, the Denali Big Five, starting in the upper left-hand corner, going clockwise, is typically referred to as elk. I can just about guarantee you'll see them. Doll sheep in the right-hand upper corner, and moose and bear seem to be kind of the wild cards. And of course, hopefully you'll maybe see a wolf, but maybe from a distance. All right. And then as kind of a bonus, it's not one of the Denali Big Five, but you'll see almost for sure whales as well. So when you're cruising, our onboard naturalists will provide narrative throughout the ship's intercom system, and hopefully be pointing out those whales as well. So there's really nothing like seeing the whales from the balcony of one of your staterooms. All right. And then we have this onboard program on board the ship called North to Alaska. So anything you see advertised in our daily newspaper or in any way, shape, or form around the ship that's referred to as part of the North to Alaska program, that really means that it's an enriching program for you. So you see the park rangers spending the day with us. This young couple in the lower right-hand corner are holding and petting real-life sled dog puppies that a real-life dog musher has brought on the ship in Skagway. So while not on all sailings, on many sailings, when we arrive in Skagway, the dog musher boards the ship with his sled dog puppies and spends several hours on board the ship, talks to you and explains what dog mushing is all about, and allows you to pet and hold and take pictures with the dogs. Many other activities are part of the North to Alaska program. They're all designed to bring the destination on board the ship and to really enrich your vacation. Many speakers or presenters on board the ship during the day are part of the program, and I urge you to take part in as many of the short presentations as you can. And you may want to ask yourself, or you may ask yourself, why would I want to go into a dark theater when I'm cruising in Alaska? But you go to the theater and you enjoy the presentation, maybe on glaciers, maybe on wildlife, maybe on the local culture, and you leave that presentation feeling so enriched. So a couple of things about Princess, then we're going to walk through a sample trip. We've been in business since 1965. We were the backdrop for the TV show The Love Boat. So if anybody's old enough to remember that show, that was we had 2 ships that were the backdrop of that show. Really exciting for us. We're headquartered in Los Angeles. We've been cruising Alaska since 1969. The things that really jump out about Princess, and in particular in Alaska, is that we offer this destination onboard experience that's very, very enriching. Our rail service between Whittier, the port city, and our private lodges And then also the lodges themselves. We have 5 lodges in Alaska that were purpose built for our customers. So they're designed for people on a 1 or 2 or 3 night stay. And all that is wrapped up and really highlighted by our employees. When you're on land in Alaska, most of the employees are local Alaskans, and they really know it. So if you walk up to the tour desk at the Denali Lodge, the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge, and you ask about an activity or an excursion that you're thinking about taking, most likely they've experienced it themselves, and they can really provide you with awesome insight. All right. So there's a couple of great ways to see Alaska. One is what we refer to as a round trip Seattle Inside Passage cruise. This is where you fly to Seattle, board the ship in Seattle. The ship cruises around the outside part of the Inside Passage, calls on 3 great ports of call: Juneau, Ketchikan, and Skagway, cruising through the Inside Passage up north toward Ketchikan, and then either calling on Glacier Bay National Park or calling on an area called Endicott Arm, a long, narrow fjord with glacier viewing at the end of the arm called Dawes Glacier. So this is awesome, and also Victoria, British Columbia too. This is an awesome 7-day cruise vacation. And again, calling on the 3 top ports of call in all of Alaska. And I'll talk a little bit more about those ports here in a moment. The ships are, we have a ship leaving Seattle on Saturdays called Crown Princess. And the newest ship to our fleet, who is really not even quite born yet, debuts in March. Discovery Princess cruises out of Seattle on Sundays. Great. Here's a picture of Glacier Bay National Park. Again, on the left-hand side, that's Margerie Glacier, with obviously some calving just having occurred with the glacier falling into the water. And on the right-hand side is a picture at the end of Endicott Arm and Dawes Glacier. You can see how big Dawes Glacier is as well. All right. And then we have our Voyage of the Glaciers, as we refer to it as, where you start your trip in Vancouver. You cruise north, you end up in Whittier, the port city for Anchorage, or you can go the opposite direction. In my sample right now, I'm going to go northbound, starting in Vancouver and going north and ending up in Whittier, and then we're going to go on land as well. So you board the ship in Vancouver, I'm sorry. So there we go, Vancouver. So the ship debuts or leaves port generally right downtown Vancouver. Just an awesome town. Some people consider Vancouver the most beautiful city in North America. Some people say the entire world. Board the ship will set sail, cruise through the Inside Passage all day long, your entire first day. It takes 30 hours to go 330 miles to get to Ketchikan. It's a glorious day with scenery on either side of the ship. The onboard naturalist with Princess will be on the bridge most of the day, providing interesting insight, pointing out interesting sites, maybe a local fishing village, and hopefully those whales as well. You'll spend most of your day out on deck just soaking in the scenery. Then our first port of call, Ketchikan. Ketchikan is a town of port city of about 12 or 13 or 14,000 people. Very, very friendly city. You can get off the ship and just wander around Ketchikan on your own. It's well known for its totem poles and also known as the salmon fishing capital of the world. So by all means, take part in an excursion and experience those totem poles. So Juneau, our next port of call, is as you're going north, your first opportunity to see a glacier. If you're coming south, it's your last opportunity. But by all means, we have a short excursion that takes you out to the visitor center at Mendenhall Glacier. You can view the glacier and experience it. Or you might take a helicopter ride and land out on top of Mendenhall and experience the glacier that way. Quite exhilarating. This is where Libby Riddles, as part of our North to Alaska program, enrichment program, boards the ship and conducts a presentation of sled dog racing and her exploits. That's Libby Riddles herself in the photo on the right-hand side of the screen. She's the first female Iditarod champion, and she tells an incredibly compelling story. Then if you want to go whale watching on a smaller ship, this is where you have the opportunity to do that on one of our Princess shore excursions. Another great shore excursion in Alaska is to do salmon fishing as well. By all means, if you are on one of the excursions that's labeled and described as part of the Cook My Catch program, you can have your fish after you catch it. You can tell the fishing vendor on the ship, on the boat, that you'd like to have it prepared for you on board the ship. By all means, you can bring it. He'll bring it back to the ship, make those arrangements for you. They'll cook your personal salmon on board the ship and bring it to your table that evening at dinner. I did this the last time I was in Alaska. I didn't catch any fish, but two of my sons did. We had both coho and pink salmon that we caught. We had them prepared for us, and here is the actual tray that was brought out to us at dinner that evening. The picture really doesn't do this platter justice. That table that it's sitting on is 4 feet wide. So it's really quite a spread that was brought to us. Skagway is our next port of call. Skagway is the port of call known as for the gold rush of 1898. The most famous shore excursion in all of the world is the White Pass Scenic Railway, following the railroad, following one of the two main paths the men took in 1898 to seek their fortune in gold. Just an absolutely stunning train trip up the mountain, climbing about 3,000 feet. Skagway is a frontier-like town with plenty of boardwalk, fun to walk around and shop in as well. Here's a personal photo taken through a set of binoculars about 30 minutes after having left the port of Skagway. And I really urge you, after leaving Skagway, about 30 minutes out, go up to one of the top decks, go to the rear of the ship, and this will be your view. It's really quite surreal. Then we visit Glacier Bay National Park or College Fjord in the lower center of the screen, where you might have several glaciers within your view at one time. Or in the upper right-hand corner, if you're coming southbound, you would see an area called Hubbard Glacier. I mentioned Margerie Glacier is a mile wide at the water. Hubbard Glacier is 6 miles wide. Here's a couple of more personal photos of Margerie Glacier deep into Glacier Bay National Park. And then we arrived Whittier, which is the port city for Anchorage. And in most cases, if you're going on a cruise tour, you will board our Direct to the Wilderness rail service. By the way, if you're just cruising, you would transfer to the airport and fly home. But if you're going on one of our cruise tours, in most cases, you board the train. Some cases, you go a different direction on a motor coach. But you go right through Anchorage, right by Anchorage, and you arrive at our Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. This is the area, the lodge, that is the staging point to do a tour into Denali Park itself. If you're looking for a little excitement, Denali, or the Nenana River, pictured on the right-hand side, down below the backside of our lodge, is the Nenana River, where you can go whitewater rafting. And if somebody in your party wants to go and you don't, you can go out on the deck like this couple is here, and you can watch your friends go by. The Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge is the only public lodge in Alaska that has a potential view of Mount Denali itself. The mountain's name has changed from Denali, or from McKinley back to Mount Denali. And there's a photo of it. It's a rugged looking mountain. And the reason I say potentially has a view is the weather has to cooperate as well. If anybody's watched the TV reality show Treehouse Masters, in season 9, episode 9, they went to our Mount McKinley lodge grounds and built one of their elaborate tree houses. And from the tree house, you potentially have a view of Mount McKinley as well. And I said it, I meant to say Mount Denali. And then if you want to go on a little bit more extended vacation, you might do one of our cruise tours that visits our Kenai Princess Wilderness Lodge west of Anchorage, where you stay on what's called the Kenai Peninsula, or you might go 8 hours east to our Copper River Lodge, home to an area in the river where the famous Copper River salmon come. So there's about, while the cruise itinerary from Vancouver to Anchorage is the same 7-day cruise itinerary each time, there are about 20 different combinations of the land trip for Alaska and for the interior of Alaska. So when you sit down with one of the cruise holiday staff or work with them on the phone or via email, by all means, they're going to help you figure out which is the right itinerary for you. And then you may go as far north as Fairbanks as well. All right, all of our ships are medallion class upon our return. So medallion class cruising fleet wide. It provides you with a wearable device where you essentially get ready to cruise before you ever leave the comforts of your home. You walk on board the ship, or you arrive at the pier and walk right through security and board the ship. So several questions that I just want to address as we get ready to wrap up here, but oftentimes the question, when is the best time to go? Which is the better direction to go? Those questions come up often. So I can really kind of help put some of that to rest for you. The best time to go is really anytime. We cruise from mid-May to mid-September. There's something a little extra special about each part of the season. If you go early in the year, there's still snow in the lower elevations. It's cool and crisp out. It happens to be my favorite time to go. If you wait till mid-June into July and mid-August, the temperatures are about 10 degrees warmer on average. And then if you wait till late August into early September, you might have an opportunity to see some of the fall colors as well. Northbound or southbound is always a question that comes up. When you visit with Cruise Holidays staff, they're going to talk to you about that. They'll share with you what a lot of their customers have experienced in the past. There really isn't a better way to go. It might come down to just a practical reason. Maybe it's better from where you live to fly home from either Vancouver or Anchorage or Fairbanks. So keep in mind that either direction is great as well. Packing always causes a lot of anxiety about Alaska. During the day, people will be dressed just like you'd expect people to be dressed for Alaska. Blue jeans and khaki pants and sweatshirts. In the evenings, 5 of the evenings, the spirit of the dress code on board the ship is called smart casual. And that means nothing more than everybody looks nice. Everybody's dressed nicely. 2 of the evenings are called formal. On the formal nights, it's an opportunity to get dressed up and enjoy the formal atmosphere on board the ship. Men would want to have a coat and tie, maybe a dark suit. You'll see a few tuxedos. Women will wear anywhere from a dressy pantsuit to a long gown. After you've discussed your trip with and made plans with one of Cruise Holiday staff members and made your purchase, the additional spending that you can expect would be are any of the shore excursions from the ports of call, dining at the lodges and on the train, and also specialty dining on board the ships as well. Everybody has to have a passport, and I really urge you to pull out your passport and make sure it's good for at least 6 months past the last date you plan to travel. And while we want everybody to book as early as possible, there's the advantages of doing that. What we recommend is it provides you with the most opportunity for choice. And while it may seem like it's a long ways off, it's selling very, very well. We have a wonderful military benefit if you have a military heritage, make sure you let your travel advisor know. They will ask you for a copy of your DD 214 form, and we'll send that into Princess to find out if you qualify for an added shipboard credit as our salute to the military. We have a great program that's a permanent part of our fare plan that includes our premier beverage package, unlimited Wi-Fi, and our daily crew appreciation, formerly known as gratuities, all included in your price. If you are ready, or if you're ready to at least begin the discussion, please reach out to Cruise Holidays Comfort Tours, 816-505-1500. They're ready, they're willing, and they're happy to help you out and plan your trip. It's probably one of the more detailed trips to plan, and we really urge you to make those plans as early as possible. And then just as I wrap up, I also want to mention that another company I represent that Cruise Holidays is happy to work with you on is Cunard Line 2. So Cunard Line's famous Queen Elizabeth has a number of sailings round trip from Vancouver, mostly 10-night sailings that will offer you a luxury cruise experience as well. Another picture of one of the glaciers in Alaska. There's just nothing like seeing those glaciers in Alaska. Thank you everybody for joining us today, and we'd love to entertain you.
Thank you so much, Joe. We appreciate your time and your information and your personal pictures. Those were amazing. And you touched on a couple of things, that your kids were a part of this experience. And Alaska is so great for a multi-generational family. There are programs on board that are age appropriate for the children. There's no better way of learning, I believe, than experiencing hands-on. And I think for a child, I have a 7-year-old myself, I would take him to Alaska tomorrow. It's just a great opportunity for them to learn about preservation and about different cultures and all the history, the wildlife, so many different things. So that is great. And I also highly believe in the anticipation. The anticipation is half of the fun. We have a family trip coming up ourselves, and we have been so excited. We mark off the days every single day, and we are ready to go. So thank you so much for your time. And you did great. You had a lot of great information. I know it's a lot of information to process, but that's why we are here. So give us a call at Cruise Holidays of Kansas City at 816-505-1500 and let us help you anticipate that next vacation. Thanks so much, Joe.
You're welcome, and we'd love to entertain you. Thank you.